This is an HR program on demand, a living seed capsule of work life and workplace coming live from a rooftop in Stockholm, Sweden. It's me, Anne-Marie Andric, and
me, Katarina Berg.
A vodcast, if you like, on HR, straight across the counter. Sponsored by HR The Real Deal, HR by HR for HR. Gary.
Anne-Marie.
I am so happy as always. My dear, it's the 5th time that you're on here.
Yeah, and it's always in the winter.
It's always freaking cold.
It's freezing again.
But we're so happy. Now, the reason why we keep bringing you back over and over again is because you and your team are doing so much cool stuff on the whole people experience at Spotify.
Yep.
The last time you were here was like a year ago.
It was.
Yeah. Freaking cold then as well. Yeah. And then, so let me just recap. We've been talking about disco. We've been talking about Scout. Mm-hmm. Last year, you all sort of brought that together in something that you call Bounce.
Yes.
And I believe you launched Bounce last year.
We did.
Why don't we do like a recap of last year's?
Sounds good.
What has happened?
Yep.
How did it go? What is Bounce? Tell us.
Okay, we'll start there. What it is?
Yes.
Anyone else
let's do
watched it? So Bounce is really simply our sort of digital front door for all things HR. So it's the place that everyone can kind of come to for all HR related things. So the strapline we have for it is a place to go, know and do.
I love that.
Thank you.
Say that again.
To go, know and do.
I love it.
Yeah, the thing is people think that takes like 5 minutes to come out. I think we've probably got 5 months on that strapline.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the idea is that how can you kind of combine information, tasks, all into one place. So normally it's quite a disjointed journey for people. So if you think of like your traditional thing, you might go somewhere for information, you might have to go to your HCM to do the task, you kind of hop in between different places to go. So we thought, how could you bring that into one place? So that's kind of effectively, in a very simple terms, what Bounce is. So we launched it at the start of last year. We launched it in 2 markets. I think last time I was back, it was in Sweden and the UK. After that, we rolled out to a few more countries. And then everything was kind of going pretty smoothly. And we thought we kind of got the year all mapped out. And we then took quite a big pause with it, I think, as we kind of fast forward to the rest of the year. Actually, what do we want Bounce to become? And I think I would have told you at the very beginning, like Bounce was one of kind of those elephant projects where you're like, where do you start with this? And so what we started to realize was, have we made the right decisions on some key things here from an infrastructure perspective, from a scale perspective? Because I've, as well as it being an elephant project, I've also referred to it as being like this kind of snowball project. I bored my team with that phrase for ages. But what I meant by that was, because what I thought is once we launched it out to everyone at Spotify, it was hopefully, and I'm always an optimist, was going to generate a lot of interest. And once that happens, that snowball's going to go down the mountain. It's going to get very big, and we're going to have lots of demand and things coming. So we actually made a decision probably around sort of March, April time that we actually kind of paused with kind of any further rollouts. So we went back and made some changes to our infrastructure, kind of corrected what were kind of mistakes, I guess, in terms of some of our thinking.
And the learnings from the 2 markets that you launched it in.
Yeah, and that was quite frustrating in the sense of, because the feedback was super positive. And it's you're almost riding that wave of enthusiasm. You want to kind of keep going. So it was actually quite a tough thing for us to do. And I think for a team, it really did feel that way, because we spent all the year before gearing up for it to actually then draw a line and say, look, we need to go and fix these things, because while we're enjoying this right now, if we get to the end of the year, this is going to cause us a lot of issues, certainly when we go out to everyone at Spotify. So the sort of middle part of the year wasn't what we were expecting. And I think sort of summer came at a really good time. That's the good thing with like the Swedish summer being so long. I think we all need it. It's probably the first time in 5 years, I think, me and my team, I think we all head down around the similar time. We all looked at it and said, we need this.
Yes.
We need a few weeks just to go and recharge. So we came back with sort of renewed vigor, and the focus then for the second part of the year is getting it out to everyone at Spotify. That was the sort of big thing we wanted to do for last year, and that's like, the team just did a phenomenal job. That was an awful lot of work that went into it.
Can't imagine. So what was the response when you went global?
It's been really positive. It's like, I think in terms of launches, like Emil on my team, like I get to kind of talk about it. He does all the hard work, but it was flawless. Like when you go, I don't know if you remember this, but when you're early on in your career and you have to send like a big email and you kind of click send, and there's that sort of trepidation of going to send this email.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like launching's a bit like that, where you kind of you click. There's no sort of cutting of ribbon, but you just launch it out there and you think, are people going to like this? Are people not going to like it? Is it going to work?
Right.
So really boring stuff like load testing and like if a few hundred people log in, is it going to all fail and things. So the launch went really, really well. No issues from a sort of technical thing, and the feedback's just been super positive. I think people are, you and I have talked like on and off camera on these types of things, and the hard thing with Bounce is we have a really big vision for it, but it is going to take time for people to kind of catch up with what that vision is going to be, and the sort of the new kind of sandbox that people have got to play with. Because it is very different, and I kind of say that to people. I think people kind of nod their head and look at me and go, "Yeah, I'm sure it is."
Yeah.
But it really is, and the options we now have as a function are very different.
What makes it different? Because it sounds like an employee experience tool, right? And there are some providers out there where you can buy that.
Absolutely.
What makes this different? What makes Bounce different?
Our biggest thing is, I think go back to when we first spoke, we spoke about Disco and kind of people analytics, and most people kind of watching or listening to this will think, okay, reporting, dashboards, etc. And that's true. That's absolutely its piece. But we've always thought about it, well, if you have all that data around your employees, how could you use that in a different way? And it's the personalization for us. And there's kind of two strands. So I think we talked before around pre-boarding, onboarding, and just the ability to nuance that journey for people based on, the role, the country, and you can really drill down into various level of detail. So you think something like an office, so if you were in Stockholm and I was in London, for instance, they're two different offices, but normally you would go into them and go, here's a page of all our offices, find your Stockholm one and find your London one. You can go into Bounce, you don't have to sift through anything. It's like, okay, well, you're in the London office. Here's what's on the menu today. Here's how you find things. This is where the IT bar is, etc. And same for Stockholm things. So that's like one example, but just expand that across everything.
Cool.
That you have. But then where that will grow into, and again, we're still on that journey, and I kind of talk about this, and I think people are on it, but it's every aspect of the employee experience, everything that happens to an employee at any stage, you can create what we're referring to as experiences around that. And there's so many key moments that happen. So you've got this really fun equation with the people experience side of things where people's expectations are pretty low. We're all used to a quite generic experience going to a platform, and it's been that way forever and a day. You can all join different companies, there'll be slightly different versions of it. You might get a box or gifts or something, but the systems are pretty much the same. So for us, it's actually elevating that onto something that it's not currently. And when you have a user who's not expecting something, and then you provide that surprise, the uplift you get for that is disproportionate to their expectations. So like one example we have on the pre-boarding side of things is, let's say you and I were on the same team and someone was joining the team and we're having a team meeting and we think, you know what, let's just record a quick message and we're going to welcome someone that's coming. And then you're pre-boarding, you haven't joined the company before, you log into Bounce and you've got a new message and it's a video from the team you're about to join saying, can't wait to see you in a month. I've never had that.
No.
And I don't know if, and I'm sure somebody might be watching, we have that, but normally you'll get like a generic, here's our, and it's not that it's a bad thing.
No.
If you get a video about Spotify and all things, that's good as well, but you're not expecting it. So the value you then create for that person is and I could give you like 20 different examples of that same experience, and that's what Bounce allows you to do in a way that feels like it just fits in the platform. It's not hard-coded or you feel like you're in different instances, you're not in a pre-boarding platform, it's all in the same thing. So it's that fluidity and that personalization which makes it very different.
And it's also, I mean, obviously you can use it on your phone, right? It's an app.
No, it's just
you can't.
desktop only at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason for that, because I get asked that quite a lot, is we made a real distinction between desktop and mobile, which I know sounds like, of course they're different, but for us, mobile is a very defined experience. And what we didn't want to do was kind of create a version of Bounce on mobile that felt suboptimal. So if you take the Spotify thing we have with like Ubiquity, if you use the desktop version of Spotify and the mobile version of it, they both feel very comparable experiences.
Exactly.
We didn't feel that we could do that same level of comparability, so you would be getting a much better version on desktop than mobile. So until we feel like we can replicate the experience on mobile that you get on desktop, it's not something we've got right now.
No, but it's in the plan.
It's on the roadmap. It's, to be honest, it's not high on the roadmap right now. Mainly, what we want to see with some of this is kind of traditional testing of if we had a huge surge of mobile requests and the demand's there, then the development effort makes sense. But 95+% of our usage right now is desktop.
Yeah.
So it's just it hasn't made sense right now. But it's certainly on the list.
Yeah.
It's just not high on the list right now.
Right. And then you mentioned something when we were talking about this offline. What also makes Bounce special is like you were giving an example of someone who comes back from parental leave.
Yes.
Yeah. What happens then? I come back from parental leave.
Yeah. So
I've been away for 6 months or 12 months.
As this is one, these are one of those we've got in sort of design and thinking at the moment is. We're very sort of like if you focus on the person, right? So when you go on parental leave, and obviously if you're in Sweden, it's slightly different. I know that from coming here and just to sort of, which is fantastic. But we've obviously exported that from sort of like around the world. But when you're going on parental leave, it's really daunting. Like you're going to be away for maybe 6 months, 9 months, a year.
Yeah.
You're going to be out of the business. People are going to forget about you.
No, they don't.
Of course they don't.
They will never forget about us, Gary.
Of course not. But the so you've got that kind of part. So it's a big thing. So it's that kind of crossover between life and work.
Exactly.
So then when you come back, you've then got the like, what's happened? What have I missed? Getting back up to speed as things changed and moved on. So for us, it's like, wouldn't it be great if you came back into Bounce and the first banner you see is like, welcome back. Here's everything you missed. And we summarize all the news you've missed, all the announcements that you've got, all nicely consolidated for you. And it's just, again, back to my kind of not expecting and kind of surprise thing. It's just a nice way of saying, look, we know you've been out.
Yeah, this is what happened.
But welcome back, and this is what you've missed. So that's one example of something that we've got that's a big moment both in life and at work. And it's that kind of crossover and how can we help with Bounce. And it's like I say, the personalization, that's what allows us to do it. You don't just go into a welcome back page and here's, if you've filled in this thing and if you've done that and if you do this, we can make it feel far more integrated. So yeah, of course you have tasks to do. You're back. If you had like, delegation of authorities and things like that, you have to remove and things like real task related things.
Exactly.
But how can you just give people a nice leg up, but also feel like you've recognized them as an individual in that experience. So yeah, this was really helpful rather than having to go and do it manually.
And I, as an HR practitioner, I obviously also see what that does, that personalization touch to it, what that does to the engagement and the commitment and connection to the company and your whole work experience. And
the thing we've tried to change the tone of is that whether I'm right or wrong with this, I always think people have this really high level of skepticism with HR tech and HR platforms. It almost feels like HR released tech, and I sometimes get this feeling that people were trying to make your life harder. So what we're trying to foster with Bounce is, look, we're genuinely trying to make an improvement here.
Exactly.
Now, will we get that right all the time? Hopefully, but probably not. But have people feel like they're rooting for it as a system and a platform. Like, well, if you've done something you didn't think it worked well, then tell us. Rather than kind of like sitting from the sidelines and throwing stones at it and saying this is rubbish and why have we done that? So we're trying to get the right sort of vibe around it where it's there to make things better for people. It's not just some ego trip or fantasy project, we want to just build this because it's a fun thing to do. No, actually, we genuinely think we can solve some big things that matter to people.
It's an enabler.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Okay. I'm so impressed as always. I'm glad that the launch went really, really well. Obviously, there will be some good learnings. Now, I will, as you know, maybe, hopefully, most likely, there will be a sixth time when I invite you back.
Please, not January. Please, not January. But before we go, you're always asking me questions. So I've got a question for you.
Okay.
So what's the one thing you ask me almost every time I've come on for the last 5
I was just going to ask you, so hearing about Bounce and when can I try it? When do you release this to the external market? Seriously.
So
I've been nagging about this. It started with Disco, Scout, Bounce. Tell me. Seriously.
So we're going to go back to the first one. So the kind of exclusive for this is we're actually going external. So we're going to be bringing Disco to market in 2025. So your wait is over.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you doing it?
Yes, we are. Finally.
Disco.
Bloody
freaking fuck! You are.
Yes.
Oh, it's on me. Okay, everyone who's listening and watching, it's on me. I've been contributing to this launch. Yes.
We didn't actually want to do it.
Exactly, but it was me, right? Are you serious?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Tell us.
Yeah, so it's the obviously had to announce it.
God, I'm screaming. I'm sorry. Are you doing it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we'll be. So this is kind of the announcement that we're having. So for everybody watching, that we've kind of steered towards the.
This is the exclusive.
This is exclusive. Yeah, we're not this. We saved this for this. We've been working on this for last 6-9 months.
This is where it happens.
So
okay, sorry.
No.
Tell us.
So what we'll have is after this announcement. So what we're going to be rolling out is early adopters program. So I'm not going to give away too much on this one, unfortunately. So this is very much a kind of teaser. But in the coming days, we're going to be launching a register interest site. So for everybody that's watching, if you are interested in disco and finding out more, register interest on that.
And where do you register? Where do you?
We're going to have a website that's going to be up,
Uh-huh.
so people will be able to go for that. What I will say is, just to kind of condition people, like we are going to be picking like partners to begin with. So for anybody who does register interest, this is my disclaimer now. If we don't get back to you, we will try and get back to everyone. But it's not going to be a case of just mass selecting everybody. We really want to get this
Right.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I often think whenever I watch the start of this, we often say like for HR by HR.
Yes. Oh God, Gary, you nailed it.
On point.
For HR by HR. Yeah.
No, so we kind of we've gone down this path that we've got, and we think we've got something that is good. People are going to get a lot of value from. You know, we're slightly further on the maturity curve,
Yeah.
and I think that the interesting and the kind of last thing I'll say on it is that I think part of the reason why we're doing this is. There's lots of software out there.
Yeah.
There's lots of new vendors that are coming onto the market, which I understand. And if I'm obviously hugely proud of Disco, and I'll say Disco is better than everything, but it's almost like proud parent syndrome. There'll be other software providers that think their software's good, and that's fine.
Yes.
But the difference is you don't just get our software, you get us and our expertise. And there's nothing on the market. There's nothing in the world that does what we do. We haven't finished our careers, and we're going back 20 years and advising things. This is live at Spotify. You get all of our expertise, all of our innovation, all of our design. So we think that's pretty unique for things. And, you know, we kind of went back to, they often say, would you buy something? And I think back all the way when I started 5 years at Spotify and we were really trying to build this up. If there was something on the market like that, whether I would or not, but I would have been very tempted. So we're going to go and see. No promises. We'll see how it goes.
Gary, this is the best gift of 2025. I am so happy, and I am sure that I'm speaking to all the whole HR community out there. My God, we're excited.
Thank you.
And you know what? I just feel like we have to close this session now so that you can launch this properly and
Yep.
we can put ourselves
Yes.
on that list.
Yeah, so now you have to tell everybody to register their interest though. So.
Have to register it, but I don't have to say that. They will do that anyhow. Oh my God, what a bomb! You
Yes.
just
That's why you keep inviting me back.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much
Pleasure.
for that. Thank
Pleasure.
you. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Should we
Do
do
you,
the wrap up?
you remember how we close it?
Yes. So stay safe, stay strong, stay active.
Ida medalje. Gary, what can you say? You want
So-
some lip gloss?
I'm good. That feels too much.
Too much, but I think it would be nice.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Imagine,
not
imagine
that you-
tuning in. I guess, what the hell is he wearing? I got Bob, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But
I did this
with
myself.
the hair? No.
Yeah. I don't know,
So
I
the
can't-
barber
I
does the
can't-
hair as well.
The barber does, only my hair. I can't grow a beard. I'll be about 70 years old by the time I've got a beard.
Can I ask you a very, very stupid question? I've always wondered, isn't it odd to have hair in your face?
Yeah, I suppose it is. But you always kind of have used to it.
It feels natural. It must feel natural for you, or?
Yeah.
This is a very stupid question, I understand that, but I have to ask. I mean, if I were to have like
I'm
this
not-
itchy thing going on in my face,
Yeah, but it's
and
not-
then when it's really long, if you
Same.
wait, then I am assuming it's the same.
I've heard.
I've heard.
in social circles. It's the same.
Okay, let's be professional.
Yeah.
This is a very hairy
I'm
discussion.
not going to, you know when you say I've got a question to ask you, I'm going to ask you that question. You think disco's coming. So, I mean,
No. I was wondering about the hair, the body hair.
a puzzle for you. That'll be gold.
Would it-
We'll,
would
go, we'll pitch the whole episode. It's like world first, massive news.
This is the really raw one.
I think it was the last one. I think the last one you guys did. But you know, we had the Christmas tree behind you,
Yes,
and Kerry was trying to pick it up. It's like, no, it's fixed.
it doesn't work.
Why do you always do this on the roof? It's like,
That's the
and,
thing.
and it's the fucking windy point as well. It's
Yes, but we also say that sometimes. I'm freezing like hell. I cannot listen to you anymore because it's cold. Let's cut it. And you know, to stay safe, stay strong, stay active.
I hate that bit.
I
It's
know.
like I can do that. I can talk 10 minutes of nothing, but I hate that. It's like, you know what to say. It's
We'll
like,
do it together. And then
I'm
where
adding-
is it? It's there, right? Okay, there.
it's not cute.
Yeah. Yes. It was so freaking good.
Good. That was good.
I'm like hitting you because it was so good. Yes.
Yes, finally got it.